Hi guys, welcome to another full film. Alright guys, it's been a month now, we haven't released any film and that's not the best. We sincerely apologize for that. And for those of us that have been following us, we're actually on a new series, and this series we're actually looking at large scale enterprise software applications. So we're gradually shifting away from what we used to be doing to something that has a lot of impact, especially when it comes to um, the number of customers you want to serve and the number of services that a particular application can provide. So this film is not really the beginning of it. There's still a lot that we are still considering because it's quite huge. It's a very huge undertaking that we've decided to fulfill, and it may take a couple of months to actually get everything done. But we're still thinking about how to put all in one um, application and just do a quick walkthrough than to actually build it gradually. So it's still we're still considering. If you have any suggestions to that, you can drop it in the comment section because at the end of the day, we want to really appreciate and understand these enterprise applications and software applications that are out there. So okay, so let's just get started. So I don't know, but sometimes when you're interacting with some applications out there, there's this kind of I won't say a tagline, but there's a tagline or there's a form of expression or there's a marketing or should I say there's a value that they are promising you that this application is fast, it's secure, it's reliable, it's robust, it's resilient. And you ask yourself, how does this concern me with the application I'm going to use? Probably you have a payment application, you have um, a banking application. You have some application on your phone, and then the application just says that, hey, when you download me, I am fast, I am secure, and I am reliable, and I am robust. Then you ask yourself, so how is this happening, or what's happening under the hood? So this is why we have this cool film because we want to actually look at this and also even implement some on our own devices. There was a lot of confusion in regards to this because for writing the functional requirement or what the application has to do, anybody can easily do it. But when it comes to thinking about large scale, in terms of, yeah, we get it. The application is supposed to make payment, but as an end user, I'm not just looking about making payment. There are other factors I'm looking at, and that's what we have to actually consider when we are actually building the application. So this code film is more going to be about the non-functional requirement of the application. The functional requirement, what we've just mentioned a few minutes ago, that regards to I want to make payments, I want to collect money or receive money, I want to do an airtime top up, I want to purchase um, some bills, I want to pay for some bills. It's all functional requirement, but we want to look at the non-functional requirement of the application. In other words, that's the best way to sell our application to customers or to end users because we can all have, especially the fintech applications, there are a number of them out there, but definitely one application has some trade-offs that the other application doesn't have, and it could be based on performance, it could be based on reliability, it could be based on resilience, it could be based on concurrent users, it could be based on data volume, it could be based on SLA, security, and scalability, and all these factors affect the application one way or another. So this code film, we just want to quickly just think through this, then you'll see how we actually even get started because we have a code base that's there, and then I'm still thinking through with a few just to see how best to actually release this. And this actually falls with one of our core um, expectations for this year, and that's implementing large scale software systems. With regards to Spring Security and DevOps, if you've been following us from the beginning of the year, Spring Security 2 will definitely fall in when we look at the large scale, and we will definitely have some short um, code films on that. But for the DevOps, we will have to put DevOps on hold because DevOps for now is really out of our domain of software applications or software solutions. So our focus or domain is now going to be based on the enterprise or large scale software systems. All right, so before we even continue, we want to look at our some of the applications that are out there that have some of these promises or taglines that we always tend to interact with, but we don't even know why it's saying so. So we'll just slide to our mobile device and actually look at that. Okay, guys. So what we'll do is I will go to Cowbank app and we'll check. We'll look at something on the Cowbank app. All right. So we've launched the Cowbank app, and then this is the application that Cowbank is giving to all its customers and even potential customers. And it tells you that even before we even log into the application, that we even get into the application, it tells you that welcome to Cowbank app, fast, reliable, and a smarter for everyone. So you're actually seeing some of the taglines that we just mentioned a few minutes ago, and you ask yourself, so why all this? Why are they saying all this? And as naive as you may be, when you actually don't have any technical knowledge, you may not probably consider this. You just proceed to log in. Then all you know is that you enter your PIN and your password and you're gone. And then you ask yourself, so why are they saying all this? And realize that even before the application was built, there was a problem. And the problem was that the problem could be, let me say, the problem could be that customers are trooping to the branches for simple um, transactions or simple processes that actually they don't need to actually be in the bank. And the bank or management could think of a process or think of a solution whereby they could actually ease or reduce the number of walk-ins by customers by actually providing an application that solves, if it could solve simple or daily or day-to-day banking activities that customers need, or it could even go as large as solving or transforming a whole business process that happens at the bank. So in doing that, they are going to give us an application that will help us to solve that problem. And the application they are giving us is the promise that they are saying that this application is going to fulfill that. So this application. So if this Cowbank's application that they are saying is going to help us to actually go about our day-to-day activities, that we don't have to probably troop to the bank, or it's another channel that allows us to have banking services, then hey, we are good to go. But if it turns out that the app that they are bringing also turns out that it's even more problematic than even going to the bank, then we don't even want to go with the banking application. So that non-functional requirement that we just looked at is actually the tagline that the bank is actually promising us, that we know, we get it, we get that you can't always be at the branch, and we can't always visit us to get your banking needs. So we have an application for you, and this application is fast. It is a reliable application. You can rely on it. Most of the time, the banks will close by 5 p.m. or latest even by 4. They've started closing their books. But if you think about having a situation whereby, or there's a scenario whereby you go and chill at a club with some friends, then you hit till dark, then it turns out to be 2 a.m. and you want to make payment, you also don't have cash on you, and you don't even want to think about going to the bank at that time to go and withdraw money because you definitely know that the banks have closed. So there has to be a channel that provides the same services that you would have experienced if you had to be at the bank, or even better. And that's where the mobile application comes in to save you. And what if now it turns out that the mobile application that you also want to use to fulfill that financial needs turns out to start disappointing you? Then you ask yourself, what's all this? Why am I in this situation? So they always have to make a promise with an application that they are bringing, and then that's the essence of this taglines that we actually see there. I think after this, when you start playing with some applications, and when you go online, you see them making such promises, it will start reminiscing in the mind. Oh, okay. So it's not just about the user interface. There's more to the user interface than even the design. It goes beyond that. It goes into the whole source code, the infrastructure, and so many other things. So just by looking at this, we can go ahead and log in. They've made their promise to us, so it's reliable. So We don't have an issue. And even before you proceed, on top here it says secure authentication. So you don't have to worry about maybe what if Sister Mansa downloads or Jackie downloads my application, the application. Jackie can go into my bank account and get money because for my bank card, I have it on me. For my bank details, I have it on me. But for the application, anybody can download the application and just enter in it and then they go. So what if the person has my password? So they provided some layer of security to handle all that because when you go in person to get money from the bank, you are your own. You are your own. How should I say, guarantor? You are your own mandate. You are the in-person person available that can authorize your own transaction. But when it comes to the app, it's no longer you. We have to have some level of authentication and authorization, all based on that. So it's a whole yeah. Just to cut my long story short. So before let's just proceed and log in into this. Let's just log in quickly. Okay, so we realize that we are in the application now. So it says on the application says we have bulk transfers. Yeah, so there are a number of services that you can have access to here. So you can even do investment, payment, transfers, account services, cow pay, virtual shops, scan to pay, agent banking. So the whole let's say that most of the core banking activities that takes place at the bank has now been shifted or has been provided or has another channel has been created to it via the application. So everything you need here is with you. So you can actually go ahead and perform your transactions as you want to. So we'll go back to our core films and then we'll actually start getting our we'll actually start looking at to those non-functional requirements and other whatnot. So it's not only car bank application. There are other applications that are out there. Maybe they may not necessarily provide their taglines, but they have other ways of giving you that assurance. I think I saw one recently with regards to this new application by eTransat. I think they too have a nice tagline they're also making out. So this also Haptel and this Haptel's own too. And we also have let me see Express Pay too. Express Pay too as well. They also have their application and then we also have eTransat too as well. So yeah. So all these are out there for you to actually go with, but they all have their promises. I think recently, if my memory serves me right, I saw Excel Zone somewhere. I think we'll check that one online when we go to our mobile device. Right. So let's just get started and let's go back to our device and continue. All right, guys. So we are back here now, and so we've actually looked at just one application that has the tagline that we're going to be looking at. So what we want to do now is that we have a source code that we're actually going to have this interesting discussion on what we want to be doing. And in this full film or in this base application, we are going to factor in all the promises that we've seen in the real world that they are making to us. So we'll actually go and we'll be building some of these promises and then we'll actually be explaining them so that we actually get to appreciate them and actually understand why we have them. On the surface level, we actually don't get it. We just see it and we just read it and we just, okay, fine. But we don't actually understand it or why we need it or or how it's even working. So we are going to make it work in these code films. And that's in the series of these code films. And then once we get that out of the way, we'll be good to go. So we'll be looking at performance, reliability, resilience, concurrent users, data volume, SLA, security, and scalability. And the aspect of SLA, let's just take the aspect of SLA for example. The aspect of SLA is whereby, for instance, you made mention that you go out, you have a good time with your friends at the club, then it turns out that you have to make payments. Then you don't have cash on you, so decide to go with the banking application. The bank has told you that, as we saw, Car Bank is reliable. Then you ask yourself, okay, I'll just go with the bank application and make the payment. Then you log in, then it turns out that you cannot even pay because the service is down. Then you ask yourself, And then in that moment you become embarrassed because you can't even make your payment. So you ask yourself, then why do I have to go with this app? So the bank now comes with a promise that our banking application has an SLA of 99.999999999. What they are just trying to tell you that in natural sense, application can never go down. That's what they are saying. But if another application owner comes down and tells you that, oh, our application is 80% SLA, which means that if you take 100% out, there's a probability that the 20% is your application will be down. So there's no way you want to go with such an application. And when you got that one, at least it's not all that bad, but it's bad. But if you take something where a case whereby they say SLA is 50%, hey, 50%, which means that half of the time is up, half of the time is down, and it's not a good number at all. So you really want to look at now with this understanding. You tend to be looking at some of these things now when you want to actually build systems and actually use systems. So with this understanding now, you start asking yourself, okay, fine, I get the SLA part. So you start thinking and you start thinking because the whole your business can actually your business revolving around this affects a lot of things. So and you as a customer too, it also affects a lot of things. So even if you as a club owner and you decide to go with a payment solution that they are giving you such a SLA levels of 50%, what happens to your business? Your business will definitely go down because people would find your payment solution not to be as reliable as they promise. So you start looking at these things as a business owner, where you want to make more revenue in terms of digital collections and digital payments. So it's a big discussion, but we are going to do all that in this cool film. We're going to release the films and we are going to actually discuss it and see why this is better than that, or why one way is better than the other. We've actually started with performance. And with regards to performance, we have latency and throughput. So latency is just how long it takes to fulfill a single task, and then throughput is how many of that single task can be completed in the time unit. So you start thinking like you start thinking that's what brings the fastness with regards to your application. So probably take making payment shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. You just log in, follow prompts, then you make payment. Payment process shouldn't even take 5 minutes. It should take more less than 5 minutes. But here is a case whereby you log into the application, you want to make payment, then payment is taking like 30 minutes. Just 30 minutes to make payment is a lot of time. Like the time lost is too much. That latency is too high. It's too high. You want as low latency as much as possible and higher throughput. So these are some of the technical terms too that we are just saying or sharing. We also have the reliability part. Reliability is what we just looked at. It's somehow tied to SLA, whereby now you want to make payment and then the application is down, and then there are reasons for such things. Probably the just seeing the code, the source code, you may not really see the problem. Even as the application user, you may not see the problem in regards to how it doesn't make sense why this service is down or why I can't make payment because in your mind it has to work. You get it. So as a non-technical UI, it has to work, but it's not working. So what's causing it not to work? So we have to look at high availability and load. There's a whole lot of discussions around high availability and even how to put your systems to have high availability or the ways of doing that. So we have to take our time and explain some of these concepts and actually um, and actually demo them. So we'll do that in the preceding full film. So that's just about reliability, and then also we looked at the security bit of it that as long as we are all not walking to the bank to make those payments, then if the bank cannot authenticate us via our presence and our signatures, then there has to be a way of ensuring that we are the person entering. Because just imagine if you have access to the billionaire's bank account, because now it's on an app. That's what brings the security concerns and cyber security. Because for self representation, we can be there ourselves and fulfill or authenticate our own processes. But when we go online, where everybody is online with just 5 CDs, or if let's say in Ghana here 5 CDs, or in a dollar equivalent, maybe less than 5 CDs, maybe $1 or so, you can get data then and just log into an application. It's not safe at all. So security really matters. And scalability also matters because you may not be serving only one um, market region. Maybe your payment application you've decided to build is just for, let's take my country, Ghana. But it turns out that now you want to enter into different countries. Then we are looking at scalability too. So it's a whole discussion that we'll be having, and then we're working with our code base to do that. So it's an interesting code film we have cooking, and there's a lot that we are going to be sharing. But as code films as we are, we like to make things simple and keep it simple. So that at the end of the day, we realize that, oh, okay, that is why, those kind of expressions, just to kill all the fears and anxieties around softwares and system solutions. So there's a lot of work we're going to be doing, but as we've stated that it's part of this year's discussions, we actually have to fulfill it. I think so far we've literally been able to complete this with a few pending here, which are yet to be released. And for DevOps, we've been mentioning we put it on hold, but these two have to go. That's implementing is what we are going to actually start. So stay tuned, and then um we have a lot cooking. There's a lot cooking, and also the non-pseudo requirement of a system too. That's licenses too. There's something around licenses. So beside the non-functional requirement too, sometimes we have, not sometimes, there are also pseudo requirements. Pseudo requirements are different. Pseudo requirements are like you know other factors that affect the application. A good example is license. A license brings about legal issues. So we are not just releasing a solution. It's not just a solution, it's a software that is going to solve a problem. And it's not just solving a problem, but it also has other impacts. The other impacts that it also what reduces. So just thinking about the source code is good, but now thinking beyond the source code, even the environment we are deploying it in, because the environment you deploy it in, it's all about the customer at the end of the day. Because if it goes and we deploy, the customer is not able to use it, we haven't done anything at all. So there are some legal issues regards to the solution. So it's going to be an interesting co-film. So just hang in there, and then we'll, we'll get all these films out. So I didn't talk too much. I'll just say that this is going to be the journey. If you've not understood anything at all, you don't even get why we are here. Don't forget, at least don't forget this. Now you see fast, secure, reliable, robust, and resilient application. So when you see it anywhere, just know that it's not just about the application. There's more to the application. It's about the source code. It's about the source code we have. It's about the infrastructure we are setting up. It's about the the whole like backend systems. It's a whole lot. So it's not just the code. It entails a lot. So that will be for this code film. So I'll just kill it here, and then we'll get started, and then we'll make this work. All right, guys. So thank you for your time, and then this has been Code Films as usual. Bye.